Frank Zammit, welcome again.
Thank you, Mark.
Business Insider. Here, Frank, you are as a thought leader on the coast, and we need to pick your brains on a whole heap of things. But right now, you're here as part of the founding body of Central Coast Manufacturing Cooperative.
Connect.
Connect. And I'd love to hear the story, because we've had a couple of goes on the coast of getting manufacturing people together, haven't we?
We have, definitely.
So tell us the path to get you here and what you're doing here.
Okay, well, you're right. There has been a number of goes of trying to get something happening on the Central Coast, and what as a member of the New South Wales Business Chamber, I was approached to put together a manufacturing cluster, and I said, well, no, I'm not interested in doing it for the chamber, because there's been too many of these groups set up individually, and they're either not well attended, there's not enough support to make things happen in the right way. So with the support of the chamber, I decided and started to work towards bringing together a number of organisations, business organisations, and to work together to support manufacturing on the coast. And I was fortunate enough at the time I embarked on this mission that the federal government had created a regional body for the Central Coast that was able to support initiatives like the Manufacturing Connect Group. So through that, a gentleman called Graham Baker and I decided to work together, which was great, and we were able to put together a proposal and to approach a number of organisations, leading organisations on the coast that supported business and represented business. And as a consequence of that, we formed the Central Coast Manufacturing Connect. We have 6 member organisations. We don't have a membership base. Our membership base actually comes from the members of the business organisations. We're still in our formation phase. We kicked off the process back in May of last year. We've had a number of meetings with the interested parties. We've only just recently received government funding, and in the next month or two we'll now finalise the legal arrangements for the body. But we've not let that stop us work towards some of the goals that we've got.
So let's talk about some of those goals.
Yeah, look, the key thing for us was to first of all support the organisations that are already doing work for manufacturing, because there are a number of them, and by supporting them, by bringing resources and also potential topics, they become more effective. And the idea is that the member organisations contribute to this umbrella organisation by running a particular event, one event a year. So we have six member organisations will have 6 events, plus a couple of events that we put on. So that's the first thing, so supplying support and resource to those organisations. Second thing is that we have the ability now through the Enterprise Connect program, which Graham is part of, to bring in some tools to do some assessment on manufacturing, what is needed for the Central Coast, what are manufacturers looking for, what is a community looking for from manufacturing. So we are able to bring some tools to support that component.
So do small manufacturers come along and say, I want to be part of this, or what's the...
Yeah, well, again, we work through the member organisations, but through the networking events that we've already had...
Sorry, well, you've mentioned you've got 6 member organisations. What are those?
Okay, so we have the New South Wales Business Chamber, Australian Industry Group, HunterNet, Central Coast Networking Group, Central Coast Safety Group, and the Central Coast Environment Network. So quite leading organisations on the coast that are closely related to manufacturing-based organisations. So so by bringing tools, by bringing support, we also want to bring innovation. So again, through the Enterprise Connect program and Graham, we're working on a program through another body, but which Manufacturing Connect is a part of, to look at innovation within manufacturing and how do we bring those practices to both large and small business. And the challenge for the coast is that we are made up of a lot of smaller businesses and smaller manufacturers as opposed to larger manufacturers. And that's the challenge for our group. How do we engage with those people? Because as a small business operator, you don't have time to attend functions and and whatnot, and learning sessions. So we're working towards trying to find a way to engage those smaller manufacturers.
I've been to a couple and been impressed by the numbers that you got. The one just before Christmas, you probably had 20 or 30.
And more. We've had 2 events that we've banded under the Central Coast Manufacturing Connect group. The first one was a lean manufacturing event at Weir Engineering, and we had, actually we were oversubscribed for that one. We had 60 odd organisations wanting to attend. And we just recently had one a couple of weeks ago in partnership with Industry Investment and the Central Coast Environment Network around the carbon footprint and how to prepare for your organisation to be part of it. And again, we had 40 plus organisations there. So I think those numbers speak words to us in saying there's a need and a more coordinated approach. And of course, the other thing that happens with organisations being under one umbrella, we actually have a calendar of events. So we're not duplicating events that, when one member organisation might be doing something on safety and another one might be doing something on safety, and we find that actually we bring the two together and bring that whole membership base together, and that allows, better use of resources, better attendance, and then better outcomes, hopefully.
I'm an admirer of HunterNet and the way they come together and often engage with cooperative tendering and that sort of thing. Do you see the Manufacturing Connect on the Central Coast encouraging that sort of thing?
Well,
or
look, I think
they're a bit far away at this stage?
Look, I think a few things have happened on the coast over the last couple of years. I think, when I first came in and involved in business, there was not a lot of cooperation between organisations, or right across the board. Well, and I think the last couple of years there was none. Yeah, that's right.
Not a lot.
In the last 2 years, we've had a change with the RDA, the Redis plan coming out, and there's just been a much more willingness for organisations to work together. So with HunterNet, I think their model is actually a good model when you look at how they work together to tender and get business. That's one of the reasons why we've asked them to join our organisation, because they are down on the coast trying to encourage people to join their network, which is great because it gives opportunities for those engineering manufacturers. And we want to use them to grow that base and expose the Central Coast businesses to more opportunities. And that's what it's about. And we're like a linchpin. With all these different organisations doing things, we can find the ways to connect both organisations as well as manufacturers, and that's key.
So if someone was listening to this, well, I'm sure more than 3 people will listen to this, Frank.
I hope so.
Yes. The opportunity for a manufacturer on the coast is to go through their existing member, if they're a member of an organisation, or talk to one of those 6 groups. And
look, if they're not a member of one of the organisations that I've spoken about, then they can contact us. Probably the best way to contact us is currently through Industry Investment and on the Central Coast, and then they'll put them in touch with us, and then we'll put them on we have a database, and then they'll become able to attend events, and they'll be notified of activities that are happening within the Manufacturing Connect group.
Okay.
So.
At this point, we generally say, okay, well, you've got 60 seconds to have a bit of a rant.
All right.
You've been on the coast for a few years now, so and private enterprise and now almost entrepreneurial, I guess, in some of the things you're doing, I think, as well. So
yeah.
What's your rant?
Well, my rant's very simple. I think for me, Central Coast is well positioned in terms of Sydney and Newcastle. And so from a business perspective, I mean, there are great opportunities there. Coupled with the lifestyle component that Central Coast brings to an individual. And I'm from Melbourne, mind you, and I've been here 15 years, so I'm not going to go back. So I just absolutely love it. But I think the other thing that's happening is Central Coast is growing very rapidly. There's expected another 100,000 people to be on the coast by 2030. And that brings a lot of opportunities, but also brings a lot of challenges. And one of the things we're looking at through the manufacturing group is how do we bring business with those people to the coast. So I think I see that as a great thing for the coast. And the coast is quite diverse in what it does. You don't realise until you start getting into it that you realise it's not just tourism, it's just not welfare or health and community. manufacturing.
We agree, Frank.
Yeah.
The reason Business Insider here is because of that diversity, and some would suggest isolation.
Exactly.
And we are about building bridges and being a conduit, getting people to talk.
Yeah.
I admire what you guys are doing. I think it's a great part of breaking down those silos and getting people to realise that they are part of the Central Coast rather than perhaps part of. And you're there with 6-member groups as well. All of a sudden, the environment's changed.
It has. It is, and I would suggest it's probably the first time that some of these groups have actually got together in a forum as the Central Coast Manufacturing Connect. So
you've got involvement with innovation. I guess calendar event, which is in
May this year, from the 6th of May to the 20th of May. So the Manufacturing Connect will be doing an event for that, but there are a number of events that will be put on as part of the festival. And again, that's supported. There is another group that's running, which the Connect group is part of. That's supported by Innovations group, who have just recently put together an innovations map for the Central Coast. And that's exciting, in terms of, for future growth of the coast, whether it's in manufacturing or in welfare or in the arts, we need these entrepreneurs to get out there and make things happen and share what their experience is to encourage other people to be part of it as well. And I think that program is going to be great for the coast.
Okay, we will get that information out onto Business Insider, so we just need to stay in touch and make sure as many people know it. It's a great opportunity to meet with like-minded, aggressive people.
Yeah, and it's not only business. This group's actually focused from school age right through to business entrepreneurs, because your future entrepreneurs are going to come from the younger generation today. So, and that's where we have to engage. And then the challenge for us is to keep those people on the coast. And again, that's something else that we're working on.
Have you got one top priority that you guys are working on to?
Look, the key thing for this year for us is to put on. We've got a number of events, and we need to make sure that those events are, first of all, useful, and we've done some work around that, and that they have some decent outcomes, and those outcomes are forming of cluster groups to continue the work that comes out of that particular workshop or event. So, for instance, the lean event, we've got our first cluster meeting today. It's come out of that. For the sustainable event, we've got a sustainable group, another cluster starting from that. So it's not just having an event and just letting it go. It's about actually taking that workshop or that event and now it's starting to apply to business on the coast. Okay. So, and that's where we get sustainability from.
If we go back to that point, with our youth and our potential entrepreneurs who need to hang around and support me in my old age, how can we stop them moving, and where is the opportunity? And I guess if we take one step back, why are they going?
Look, this is my own personal opinion, but and I have a son who's going through that whole exercise right now. Look, it's first of all having opportunities, but more so there are opportunities on the coast, but I don't think people are actually aware of them. There are a lot of fantastic organisations here that do some fantastic work. And I know some organisations that are looking for people, and I know my own role when I was working here on the coast for another organisation. We were looking for engineers and we couldn't find engineers. Right now, there are 400 registered engineers with Engineers Australia on the coast. There are 350 odd engineers that live on the Central Coast that are studying at Newcastle University. So it's like, how do we tap into those people? And it's really about making them aware of what the opportunities are on the coast. Look, there are issues probably around money, not in all cases, but in some cases. Currently, there aren't enough jobs. Even if we got all those engineers to come and work on the coast, there wouldn't be enough jobs on the coast. But we need to create those opportunities. So I suppose there's a bit of awareness. There's a bit of creating opportunities through growing business, and then there's some recognition as well of organisations that are doing the right thing, that encourage local people to join them. So look, I think the bottom line would be that we don't have enough jobs at the moment, but the jobs we do have, we need to make sure that they are opened up and people are aware that they are on the coast. And I think that's probably the key thing as a first step.
Is it also partly because there's no progression? You talked about the opportunity to see where your next job is. Well, and that was always, I think, on most young people's minds now is, okay, well, this has got me for 12 months, 18 months, now where do I go after that?
That is a challenge, particularly when you look at the makeup of the businesses on the coast. Yes, we have some big organisations on the coast, but the bulk of our employment comes from smaller organisations. So, look, the only way to combat that is to, again, if you have organisations working together and they know that they're going to keep somebody for a period of time and they get that benefit, maybe they can move to another organisation. So if you bring group-like organisations together, then the opportunity for the graduate or someone working on the coast is that they can move from organisation to organisation, do different roles, where the role may not exist in this organisation, might exist in this other one. But again, there's a lot of work to get to that point.
Well, the fact that we've actually got people from different organisations and different groups actually talking to one another for the first time, maybe we will even get to the point where they actually...
Look, I think we'll get there, but even if it's in the smallest way, at least we've achieved something, and I think that's the thing, and like I said, I've got a son who works in IT, and he's already talking about going down to Sydney. Now, like, there are fantastic IT companies on the coast here, and if you know about them, and engage with them, there's some great opportunities.
Actually, we're meeting with Alan Williams from Blink IT Blink Technology.
Yep.
They're doing okay.
Yep. Just a little bit.
Yes. But it is fantastic, and we don't know enough of them, and we don't talk about them, and we don't share our talent near enough. I don't think so.
I think if we just create the awareness, I think that's a first step, and that'll be a big step for us, I think.
Well done.
On the coast.
All right, we'll do what we can.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Frank.
Thanks, mate.
Okay.